today we're going to learn about inverse sine, cosine, and tangent, which is the way we find angles. So why are you reading that sign backwards? It's an inverse sign. An inverse, remember, means opposite backwards. Yeah, not right. Okay, so inverse means opposite. Remember, in math, they're never happy with just using the regular old English words. They have to make up their own. So when they mean opposite, then they say inverse, okay? So when you see the exponent of a -1, like this guy, sine, and see how it has an exponent of -1? That means the inverse of sine. So like yesterday, we said the sine of an angle, like the sine of 63 degrees, is equal to, and we came up with a decimal, right? Like 0.5291, I don't know what it is, but we're going to make that up. Okay? So we plugged this in our calculator, and it gave us the decimal. And remember I told you back when I didn't have a calculator, I had a big chart, and so I matched the angle and the trig function, and it found the decimal. Okay? Well, the inverse sign, which is that little -1, okay, this time, instead of the decimal being missing, because remember last time we had to type it in to find that decimal, so in this time, instead of the decimal missing, the angle's missing. So what your calculator does is it goes and finds that spot on the chart and then looks up and sees what angle it is. So it just works backwards. Instead of taking the angle and the trig function and figuring out where on the chart it is, it takes that number off the chart and tells you what angle it is. So it works, again, it works backwards, okay? So think to yourself, this means the angle whose sine is x, okay? That's what that means. All right, so let's say we're finding angle 2. Let's make that 2. All right, so we want to know what the angle is. What angle is angle 2? What's the value of angle 2 if the sine of angle 2 is 5/84? So isn't 5/84, that's opposite over hypotenuse, so that's the sine, right? So you would type that in your calculator, and my giant calculator is on the fritz right now, so I'm just going to have to talk you through it. So you get your calculator, and you type in 5 divided by 84. And that's going to give you a decimal, right? Isn't it 5259 or something like that? Oh, 5952, yeah. Okay? All right? And that decimal is on the chart, okay? It's somewhere along the sine row, okay? So when you type in, and to get the inverse sine, you do second, don't clear, leave that decimal there for now. Do second function, and then right above the sine, do you see how it says sine with an exponent of -1? Okay, that's the inverse sine. So you do second sine, and then to plug that decimal back in, you do second answer. And the answer is the bottom right button, the negative sign on the bottom of your calculator. And it just plugs in that decimal again. And then when you hit enter, it should come out like 63.5 or something. 36.5. Gosh, I'm dyslexic today. Yeah, 36.5. Okay, so I know it's so hard when I just have to walk you through it. All right, let's do it again. So let's do this one. So to find out what angle has that sine, okay, the tangent of that angle, or the tangent of that angle is 6/5, that ratio. Okay, so to find out what angle that is, you type in 6 divided by 5. Well, if tangent is opposite over adjacent, right? So opposite adjacent would be that angle, right? Right? So A is the variable that stands for the angle, like alpha. Yeah. It used to be the smartboard didn't let me type in those Greek letters, so I had to use regular letters. All right, so you type in 6 divided by 5, you get 1.2, right? Okay, then you hit second tangent, and that'll give you the inverse tangent. So on your calculator should come up, oops, not sine, should come up tangent, and then a little like this, and then an open paren, right? Okay, then you hit second answer, and the answer is the bottom right button, right by the enter button. It says ANS. Okay, when you type that in, that'll automatically put whatever you got last in the spot. So it's going to put a 1.2 in there. And then you hit enter. And that'll give you the angle that has that ratio as its tangent. Did you get something? Did it work that time? For angles, I usually round to the whole degree. Yeah. So like this one was 36.5, so it would be 37 degrees. And this one was 50.2, right, or something, 50.1, so it'd be 50. That's right. Okay, so see if you can find out what angle has a cosine of 5 over 84. What degree angle? Yeah. No, you like 5 over 84. 5 over 8.4 could be, if you were talking about this angle, it could be the sine. If you're talking about this angle, it could be the cosine. So you'd have to know. Yep. All right, see if you can find out what angle has a cosine of 5 over 8.4. Okay? So if they give you the decimal, you don't even have to do that part. To find the cosine of 1/2, you just type in inverse cosine 0.5. That's going to be a 30 or a 60, isn't it? Yep. All right. All right, let's try, let's find angle A. Or since I can write now, let's do angle theta. Find the degree of angle theta. All right, so is this making sense? Yes? Okay. So tomorrow, we're going to work on a two-sided worksheet. One side is finding sides of angles, which you would use regular sine, cosine, and tangent. The other side is finding angles, so you'd use the inverse sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay? And then, and we're going to do angle of elevation and depression for a couple days, and then that's the end of the chapter. So I'm looking at the chapter test next Tuesday. Okay? Yeah.